Okay, hello. I'm going to be doing a tier list of the Catharage ships. This is at least only applicable probably to the demo and might be in some way applicable to the full release, but there's going to be more ships in the full release, so... starting off, we'll be talking about the Corvette. The Corvette is fast, but that's about the only thing it has to it. It only has one slot for weapons, so it doesn't have much ability to fight. It's got very low armor, low health, etc. So, unfortunately, Sonic, you can't run from all your problems. So, it gets a D tier. The next one up is going to be the Covert Ops. It's a boomerang, but the only thing that it tends to return with is disappointment. The Covert Ops, with its benefit of having extra weapon range, can be very useful. But again, much like the Corvette, it is limited on weapons. The double range of its weapons helps significantly, but it's also very weak. If an enemy closes that distance, you are in for a bad time. Now, with that being said, the Covert Ops, much like its name kind of implies, is stealthy. It's very hard for ships to actually detect it, but there's a quirk with that. Once you start attacking something, they will generally be able to find you very easily and return fire very quickly. The next one up is actually one of the starting ships. The Frigate gets a B. It's okay. It's fast, it's maneuverable, and compared to the other two there, it actually gets two weapons. It can actually somewhat take a hit, so the Frigate is the faster and more maneuverable of the two starting ships, and again, it's kind of basically just an upgraded Corvette. The Frigate is fine. It's not amazing, it's fine. So it gets a B. It's not great, it's not terrible. It sits very comfortably in that okay area. Next up is the Destroyer, which gets a D for Destroyer, but also disappointment. It also is in the D slot because it is standing for something else. It's a marital aid, and much like a marital aid, it will screw you. It flies weird, it doesn't really do very well at much of anything. I do not like it. It actually recently got a little bit of a change in how it was flying and performing, and I don't like it. I cannot recommend it. I really can't. The next one up is the Cruiser, which, for a starting ship, is great. It's absolutely lovely. It has good speed, maneuverability. It's got 3 weapon slots, so if you're a new player, it allows you to actually experiment with your weapon loadouts, and if you get a bad weapon, if you have 2 mediocre, decent, or God forbid even good ones, it allows you to make up for the bad weapon. It allows you to experiment. And the Cruiser, if you actually know what you're doing, or if you get some pretty good gear and some RNG, you can actually beat the game with the Cruiser without any meta upgrades. The Cruiser gets an A because it is, for a starting ship, it's very good. The next one up after that is the Battle Cruiser. This is the Cruiser's eccentric older brother, and while it does kind of look like a little bit of a weird cargo ship, it's kind of rather comfortably fitting in between the Cruiser and the next one up after this, which is the Battleship, as kind of a medium heavyweight. It also recently got a buff due to some careful negotiations with the dev. It's pretty comfortably a side grade to the Cruiser and the Battleship. It gets 4 weapons, and it is cheaper than the Battleship, as it doesn't need an exotic matter to actually purchase. So you might actually purchase the Battle Cruiser before you do the Battleship. But, as I said, the next one up after that is now the battleship, and this will be our first S-Class, because this thing, it is great. It is one of my favorite ships. And I know it looks like it's what a child might draw as a spaceship, and it's very angular, but it will cut its way into your heart, as well as the hearts of your enemies. This thing has 4 slots, much like the battlecruiser, but it is also having the best potential for armor. It has the highest armor, at least right now, of any other ship in the game, at 30. And due to how armor works and how armor scales, the battleship actually has the greatest potential of being the safest ship to fly, even in comparison to the capitals like the mothership or the dreadnought. The battleship is okay on maneuverability, but like I said, it is very good for safety's sake. It is very hard to die in it. The next one up after the battleship, though, is yet another A rank, the Lancer. Now, the Lancer, kind of as opposed to the Covert Ops, gets 2 slots. And 2 slots on the Lancer does kind of limit itself compared to the battlecruiser or the battleship. But the Lancer gets a 50% bonus to its weapons. So it allows you to make some okay guns into good ones, or some good guns into great guns. And the Lancer is actually pretty maneuverable. I know the thing kind of looks a little bit like the Illuminati's yacht, but it's, like its name would suggest, it actually allows you to kind of do like hit and run tactics. So if you slap a couple of lasers into it or a couple of cannons, it allows you to do drive-by sucker punches on enemies that might seem like they'd put this triangle in the square hole. The next one up after that is the Mothership. And this is one of my favorite ships. Despite its legally distinct shape, it is rather maneuverable and packs quite a punch. It's got 5 weapons, although 2 of them are drone slots, so technically speaking it has 13. It is one of the best ships in the game, in my humble opinion. It is fast, it's maneuverable, it has a lot of weapons, it has drones which can change up how fights might be panning out. It is just very good. It's got good armor, it's got good hull. There's very few things wrong with the Mothership. Especially compared to the Dreadnought, it is worth the extra 2 plasteel comparatively. It's also technically cheaper on credit, so. After that, we have the Dreadnought, which recently, after careful consideration, got into B for bad, as opposed to D for dreading to pilot it, as the Dreadnought recently got a buff. The Dreadnought, much like the battlecruiser, has had a recently carefully considered revision by the dev. It is in a much better spot now than it was, and as a result, it's been moved up a little bit in its ranking for this video. But compared to the Mothership, it has 20 armor versus the former's 25, which in effect can make it a little less tanky than the Mothership, despite its extra hull. The Dreadnought is significantly more maneuverable than it used to be, and as a result, it's not as painful to fly anymore, and it does have 5 weapons. But it is one I still find to be a little bit of a hard recommend. Next one up is the drone ship, and this thing is the Stick of Disappointment. While it can do decently when upgraded, that's the problem, is you need to upgrade it. And for a new player, I wouldn't be able to recommend it because of that. Drones can do very well at killing things in a general sense, but the stick is rather squishy in of itself, and it doesn't have any direct firing weapons to defend itself with. When you buy this thing without any drone upgrades, if you go into a lightning or radiation storm, without those upgrades, your drones are going to die and leave you defenseless. As a result, it has to go into C. It's just... the potential of not being able to defend yourself is too big of an issue. And spoilers for those of you who have not actually unlocked this particular ship. If you have not beat the demo, this is spoiler territory now. And the next one up is the Odachi, which you have to beat the game to unlock. I haven't used this legally distinct ship enough to actually get a good feel for it, but it's effectively a side grade to the battleship or the battle cruiser. It's kind of somewhat really more of like a upgraded drone ship, as it has 2 drone slots and a weapon slot. It has an innate 30% extra damage and range, which isn't as large as the Covert Ops or the Lancers bonuses, but neither of those two have drones, and the drones on the Odachi do in fact benefit from this particular bonus. Drones also take a hit to their damage output, which the Odachi's bonus, in a certain sense, neutralizes the nerf. Many of the people that have unlocked the ship currently consider it one of the best, if not the best ship, and have said that it should definitely be under S rank, but due to the time it could potentially take to get this thing, for many people it's taking upwards of 20 hours of playing the game to actually unlock this thing, I personally find it rather underwhelming for the amount of effort to actually unlock it. If it had 2 standard weapon slots and 2 drone slots, it would easily go into S tier, but as it is, it's good, but I don't think it is that good, especially, again, for the amount of time and cost it takes for it. You know, Battleship is much easier to get, the Mothership is able to just basically do everything the Odachi can. Yeah, the Odachi has 30% extra range and damage, but past a point, both of those are kind of moot. And having extra weapons on the Mothership, or even just the Dreadnought, those extra weapons can make a very, very big difference. Having 2 extra cannons, 2 extra lasers, a cannon and a laser, or now with missiles or torpedoes, there are so many different variables that 2 extra weapon slots can make a difference for. That 30% extra damage and range I don't think is going to make up for that. But there you go, that is the current ranking for Catharage. So yeah, have a good one.